This is the Ag Queen Podcast. This podcast explores the agriculture industry with the movers and shakers of those shaping it. Here's your host, Lori Boyer.
I'm joined today by Kristen Bosgraf. She is the office manager for the Lyons Legacy Equestrian Academy. And today we'll be talking about some new things that are coming to Northeast Colorado through this academy. Kristen, I grew up a horse girl and know John Lyons' name really well. Josh is his son, so I have to wrap my mind around that and make sure that I'm referring to him as Josh Lyons and not John Lyons.
I know, I make the same mistake. And actually, one of our programs is titled the John and Josh Lyons Certification Program. They actually, Josh worked with John for a number of years as he was, coming into his own, and they developed a program together. And then in 95, Josh purchased that program and, moved on to pursue his own endeavors. And so the title still remains.
I'm sure that's confusing for you.
Well, I do pretty good keeping it all straight. Actually, my favorite thing is to just call Josh Cowboy, and he calls me Cowgirl, and I get a real kick out of that.
Okay, that works. So tell me more about the Lyons Legacy School or the Lyons Legacy Program. What is this exactly?
So we're actually a post-secondary trade-based program. We are approved in the state of Colorado as well as the state of Arizona to offer our programs. In Colorado, we are actually also eligible to receive veterans education benefits for not only our certificate programs, but we offer a 5-day trainer's clinic option in Colorado as well. So any of those programs in the state of Colorado, our wonderful veterans can utilize the benefits that they have earned through their service to pursue those programs. So now that I've given you the background on our approvals, the programs that we offer, we have 2 different programs. They're each 4 weeks long, and the graduates earn a certificate at the end of those programs as Lyons Legacy trainers. We offer the John and Josh Lyons Certification Program and the Josh Lyons Accreditation Program. When you talk about pursuing a career in the horse industry, I'm sure you found the same thing. A trainer can also be an instructor, can also be so many things. So it's about building a foundation of knowledge that they can utilize to pursue a variety of different paths in the equine industry.
Such as what?
Managing a barn, training horses, teaching lessons, coaching teams, and even pursuing the equine industry in the way that you and I do from a secondary point of view, not necessarily dealing with the horses, but working in the industry all the same. One of our recent graduates, actually, she she works at a farm called Starbright, and they do therapeutic services, not only for the general population, but also specific to veterans. And so that's the path that she chose to pursue after completion of our program.
Kristen, why is it important to have a certificate when it comes to the equine industry?
I think it really lends to your credibility as a trainer to have come from an educational background, whether it be our program or any other. There's a lot of people who are really great at doing what they do with horses, but not necessarily great at expressing how to make that happen for others. And I think having an educational background expands their capacity to reach others and to serve others, and thus brings them a broader scope of potential income.
Kristen, let's talk now about the fact that it is coming to northeastern Colorado and to the Sarah Boone Ranch. And I know Sarah fairly well. She's a good friend. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for you. Tell us more about how did this even get started?
Well, we had been working the past number of years out of larger facilities, more fairground type facilities, which was lovely for the amenities and being able to have everything in one spot. However, it takes a little bit away from the intimacy of the experience because you kind of have spectators, if you will, as you're working through this learning process and the process of making mistakes and refining those concepts. And so it led us to start to consider, why not a private facility where we could be we could treat it as our own campus and have the privacy that a student really needs to put themselves out there and try new concepts and learn new skills.
Why Northeast Colorado?
Well, we had been working out of Grand Junction, and when we decided to start seeking a privately owned facility, I just kind of put the word out there on Facebook, as we all do, and Jesus led Sarah to us, which we are so thankful for. And her facility, it was just a perfect setup for the size and the scope of our program. And the other thing that really we find is beneficial to that particular area is the location in Colorado and not having to go through a huge mountain range if they're coming from the east. It's a little bit more accessible for the location of where our students would be coming from to attend.
I see. Okay. So how does it work? This is a short-term program then?
It is. So it's a 4-week program. We typically spread it over 6 weeks. So they'll have class for 2 weeks. They'll have a break for 2 weeks, and then they'll finish out their last 2 weeks of education. It's pretty typical for our students to stay during that 2-week break and work together, work their horses, work on the first 2 weeks worth of concepts, work on the homework assignments that Josh has given them, if you will, in preparation for that final 2 weeks of education. So it's a little bit of bonding time and a little bit of independent practice time before they launch into that next group of concepts.
Can you talk to me about how the format of the program goes?
Yes. So we have, of course, the 2 different programs. Certification, it really focuses on those beginning pieces, starting young horses under saddle, introducing equipment, introducing a rider, groundwork concepts. And then even after that first ride, the first handful of rides can always be a little bit of a touchy situation. So helping the students navigate those first handful of rides and build confidence and consistency in the horses that they're starting. So, they also are going to spend some time during that program learning about building a business, learning about marketing, setting up clinics or expos or things like that they may pursue as part of their professional career. The other program, the accreditation program, it looks at the other half of the spectrum. So more of the finishing work, more of the higher performance concepts. If I want to play reining, for example, how do I teach that spin or slide stop? Or how do I build the foundation for a horse to be able to perform those upper level techniques in my game of preference?
So it sounds like it's pretty individualized. Does that mean the classes are small?
They are. We only take a maximum of 10 students in our program. They're taught 100% by Josh Lyons. So he's right in the ring, riding and working with you as you're learning these concepts. It's just like riding with any other trainer, taking turns, getting on each other's horses, feel it on mine. Let me try it on yours. Let me take that horse in my hand for a second, or take mine, so that we can help you, the individual, to learn these concepts and be able to recreate them in a variety of horses. Super intimate. It's not even limited to discipline. We've had hunt seat riders, we've had dressage riders that are coming through the program looking to build a solid foundation in our conditioned response training methodology to then take to their English-based discipline versus pursuing a Western game.
Do most people go through both programs or one or the other?
We see a little bit of both. Some students, there's of course for some students a financial constraint. Maybe they have to choose one program or the other based on what they're able to invest in their own education. And so the difference in those 2 programs helps to drive them towards the one that suits their personal goals best. But we do often see students coming back to pursue the second program, whatever it may be. They can take them in any order. So I could choose to take accreditation and then come back next year for certification, or vice versa. I can do them as standalone programs. So it's really up to that individual's personal educational goals.
And is it bring your own horse?
It is, but we also offer the option to lease horses for use in the program. So each student needs to have 2 horses for the duration of their course. if they're doing certification, it's very common for them to have an unbroke horse to bring with to start under saddle during the course of their program. And then for the accreditation, we like both of those horses to already be under saddle, but there's not really a minimum training level for those horses. It's so individual to the students' goals and what they're trying to accomplish with their own horses that we leave it pretty wide open for them.
And then how often do the classes run throughout the year? Is it just like one time in Colorado, or are there multiple classes that run?
For 2024, we actually have 3 classes and 1 clinic scheduled in Fort Morgan. So the first class coming up is going to start April 29th. And that will be our first experience at the Boone Ranch. So we are also very excited. And then we will also offer, so in April, it's certification. And then in August, we will again offer certification as well as accreditation. And in May, we have our 5-day trainers clinic.
Kristen, we are out of time here for today, but as you mentioned, the website is joshlyons.com. Once again, my guest here today, Kristen Bosgraf, Office Manager for the Lyons Legacy Equestrian Academy.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Ag Queen Podcast with your host, Lori Boyer.